over the last 5 years, I spent over $10 million in Facebook ads. And right now, we're actually spending over 100K per month on Facebook ads, on Beehive newsletters. So in this video, we're gonna be talking about essentially the things I've learned, and we're gonna go over the questions you guys had to me about Facebook ads, copywriting, marketing, newsletters, whatever. So let's just dive right in. I've created this Reddit post, and a lot of beautiful people posted their questions. Some of them called me out on why there's no answers. So let me just share my screen and go over these questions one by one. So I try to respond, to these questions by text, and I think I will do that just out of courtesy. But I also wanted to record a YouTube video, so it's gonna be useful for everybody. Somebody asked, what credit card are you putting that spend on, and how much fun do you have with the points? Having a lot of fun with the points. The credit card we use is American Express Gold, and you can get like, I think 100K or 150K. Actually, I have, if you go on my Twitter account, I have the links thing, and there's an offer for the like, you can get 100K points if you join with a referral link. Maybe there's some other offers available, so if you can get more, you can check some other offers online. If not, you can use this link. We're getting 4% cash back, or well, really it's kind of cash back. It's actually points, forex points, but sometimes you can let's say convert them at 2x rate for, let's say, Hilton hotels, so you actually get 8x points. And yeah, not exactly that way, but it's pretty good. It's really good. There's ways to convert the points into cash back. So if you get a different card, so you can actually kind of convert that into cash. So yeah, it's a pretty good card. You have 150K limit per year. So what I mean by this is you get, this is really not exactly correct. So to specify this, there is, you only get forex points after, before you spend 150K. So after you spend it, it's gonna be just 1x. And we've made a mistake where we just kind of let the card run, and yeah, it's not good. But you can get new cards. But yeah, this is probably the best card you can get. It's just $397 per year. So if you're spending quite a bit, I would highly suggest to get that card. Now the other questions you have. So when to use multiple pixels versus one. So really, you don't ever want to use multiple pixels unless you run different businesses, or maybe in some cases where you have the same business but it caters to a very different audience. Maybe in that case, I would typically we only use 1 pixel. Because there are a lot of learning is done on the campaign level as well. So I would just to answer this question, use 1 pixel. Do you use any external tools for higher ROI on ads? For example, VWO for landing page test, but for other stuff. Currently, we don't use any external tools really. So for landing page testing stuff, we've actually used some external tools. So we've used Go High Level to test different landing pages. We still do in some points. The downside to that is if you use Sparkloop, let's say, there might be less revenue you can make per subscriber. But yeah, you can potentially offset it with better landing page conversion rate. So and Go High Level actually helps you with. So Go High Level here, right? You can get 14-day trial. It's really good. and actually there's a New Year's offer, which is great. So super cool. Now what else? So, but yeah, there's quite a bit of tools. We've tried some tools. We tried like this tool that lets you optimize for better audience. They supply you with audience. There's quite a few of them. I think it's like called Audience OS, and it didn't really help us. I know for some newsletters it really helps them. For some e-commerce brands it also helps them, but it's very specific based on the audience you're targeting. So I think for something like supplement based maybe, or health health and wellness newsletter, I feel like that could really work, but we haven't really played much with those tools yet. But obviously they can be really really useful at scale. Latest on FB ads is just select US audience and let Facebook ads do its testing. Thoughts? Or do you still choose your ads the traditional way, adding specific targets like income, interest, etc.? This really depends. I would lean towards actually initially adding interests if the audience is still broad. Like for example, for our marketing newsletter, we've noticed that when we select digital marketing, we would have better conversion rate, a lower CPA, lower cost per subscriber, and also decent audience in terms of quality. So I would say, the ultimate answer is to test, but I would recommend initially when you just, let's say, open a new account, is to put the interest if it's highly aligned with the audience you want. Income can be a good one as well. It's really just like, the areas where people live, so it can be useful for sure. A lookalike audience still worth it? When to go with them versus traditional? We actually haven't tested them recently. Maybe like a few months ago we tested them and we found that interests work better than lookalike audiences. But we've had success with lookalike audience as well. So we haven't seen any uplift on lookalike audiences versus, let's say, broad audience. But that being said, we still had ads working perfectly fine. Because what Meta does a lot of times, and I think pretty much every time right now, is when you target an interest, when you target a lookalike audience, it will still go after those people, use them as a seed audience, but when it sees that it can get more subscribers or purchases or whatever you're optimizing for, it would expand your audience. So yeah, that's the case. I would mostly just not do that actually. And all these things, right? The most important thing you want to optimize for is basically revenue per subscriber. So whatever gets you the highest quality subscriber that sticks, and it depends on your monetization, right? If you monetize with ads, then the stick rate is going to be super important for you, and the quality of subscribers for your advertisers, right? Now you have to that's you have to model it out and all these things. But if you, let's say, have paid subscriptions, you want to focus on what are the people, what are the subscribers that are going to be definitely buying my paid subscription to my newsletter. So that's like the most important thing, and it just comes down to the marketing, to the basics, to the fundamentals, knowing your subscriber, and then making ads towards getting those ideal subscribers, making the landing page and content, and on all of these things. So yeah, which of the auto features of Meta you use versus which you don't? For example, budget optimization, creative optimization, ad allocation. Very good question. So ad location, we pretty much all the time use just the Meta automatic thing. So placements, we use automatic placement. We've tested that a lot and we haven't seen much of a lift, any really. Creative optimization, I'll just tell you what we remove. So we we use pretty much everything auto optimization except for text optimization. And sometimes Meta weirdly puts catalogs to ads. So if you have catalog connected to like a shopping catalog, let's say you had, I don't know, e-commerce store, it would just automatically place that catalog. Let's see if I can show you just the setup we have as an example. But yeah, you have to be careful and you have to actually look how your ads look. But it's it's pretty good at automatic optimization, automatic everything, I think. Let me just check this dummy account. All right, what is this? Okay, so I'll show you this newsletter. So this is the ad set level, and like we just launched it. There's really nothing going on here. One campaign, just a few ads. So, we use automatic placements. We use mostly non-Advantage Plus audience. We've seen that can lead to better results. Yeah. Overall, even if you're targeting, so this is a local newsletter. But let's say on the ad level, we typically turn off the multi-advertiser ads. Then, one of the best call to actions we've seen is the sign up. So the best call to action is really the sign up call to action for newsletters. Sometimes it's learn more, but a lot of times it's sign up. Out of enhancement or all of these Advantage Plus creatives, so we have this, oh man, see, that's bad. Yeah, we typically have this text improvement turned off, and so I would just turn it off. Everything else, I think it doesn't really change things that much, and it's good to have because but you gotta be careful with these automatic optimizations because the way they advertise them actually is like, oh, turn it on because advertisers have seen higher click-through rate. And what does it mean? Higher click-through rate doesn't mean anything. Like, what if you're just spamming them? So you gotta be careful with that. I think there's some things, automatic adjustments. I typically have these off. So okay, let's go back. I just set up a custom event to send emails to Meta for advanced matching. Thinking of conversion API also. You do that for better advanced matching? Yes, we do that. It's really, really good. So we sent, there's actually a video from Beehive. Maybe I also made it. How to track premium subscribers. I think Beehive should have it. So yeah, so how to set up Beehive Facebook ads tracking. Yeah, so this video from Beehive is pretty good. Because it shows you how to send subscribers back to it's basically advanced matching, right? So it just helps to send this email back to Meta, which is good. But and it's also it's pretty good. We see like really good match rate. Let me see actually what's happening here, because you can go to the events manager. You can see, I think, the match rate. Let's see while it's loading. Okay, but we don't typically spend a lot of time in it. It's so this is good. Conversion API. I feel like for conversion API is very useful for like backend sales. With with Beehive, because they give you your email, you pretty much get one day click attribution, like instant attribution. So I don't think that's necessary, honestly. Uh, let's see. I should be able to go here, and then they should show you the match rate somewhere. Well, okay. I have to look into how it's somewhere here. I think it's like diagnostics or something. We honestly don't look into this too much for newsletters. We do run some e-commerce brands as well at our agency. So for those, it's very important. Seeing the following hash, 20% of subscribers are seeing the following customer information. Okay, so yeah, this is not good. Yeah, that's weird. It says 20%, but we also just launched this. So yeah, we'll have to look into this. Yeah, because like typically you want to have this a lot higher, I think. But I know it's working. I know this is very extremely accurate. It's like 100% accuracy in terms of tracking. So it's like there's no reason to like really obsess about this for us right now, because it's 100% accurate right now. So yeah, let's see what are the conversion API. I'd say for newsletters it's not super necessary, except when you want to track like purchases or any other events. That would be useful for sure, because it's like the backend way to send data to Meta. And yeah, what are the tools, technology, or tricks that you use that aren't spoken about for beginners? Tools. This is pretty broad, I think. Tricks, technology. This could be a video on its own. We have pretty easy stack: Beehive, Facebook. Yeah, we've actually just reduced our stack, so we don't really use any tools. And yeah, I don't think there's a way, like there's a reason to focus at that right now. But technology is definitely helpful in terms of like you can do really cool tricks of tracking who you're, just attributing your clickers and send that data to Meta and then optimize for clickers. And that's something we've like scratched the surface, I think. And that's something, I think it makes a lot of sense to focus on at some point, but I don't think. No, actually, I think this is a pretty cool idea. Yeah, so yeah, sometimes like there's so many things you can do, and actually, this is one of the things that can move a needle a lot in terms of like if you optimize for the right event in Facebook Ads Manager and you actually have the data on those events, you can like significantly improve your at least quality of your subscribers. But you have to have data because you have to feed the algorithm. And so initially, when you're just starting out, you don't really want to focus on, you want to just get subscribers, and then you can start maybe tracking clickers and sending that data back to Facebook. And at some point, you might even want to optimize for that. Now, in terms of tools, I don't have those tools at the top of my mind right now, but that's definitely possible because like we've done this with mobile apps. Like that's kind of the playbook for mobile apps, for example, right? And also, yeah, should be doable for newsletters. So what I mean by optimize, by the way, is when you set up ads, you set up you want to optimize for the subscribe event or lead event or whatever you have it set up. But then you can test like different things. Like you can optimize for purchases. And actually, I have a video if you want to try that. If if you have paid newsletter with paid upgraders, you can check out this video where I show you exactly how to track premium Beehive newsletter signups, so you can actually see that data in your Facebook Ads Manager. And I think it's very useful to do that anytime, because once you get those events, enough of those events, you can try to optimize for those, because Meta will your pixel would have all these events. So super cool things you can do. My audience are $6 CPA, but aren't opening. How would you change the ad to work on that? Email open isn't unfortunately a conversion event. Yeah, yeah. I feel like we should be able to do that at some point, to make it a conversion event. So aren't opening. Well, like there could be a few things. So I've seen some of the ads, they're actually not saying that there's an email newsletter. So you want to say that you're a newsletter in your ad, and you know you want to try to tell them on the thank you page that, like, open your email, like confirming your subscription, things like that. There could be a lot of different things. It could be deliverability, it could be your email headline, so you can work on your email subject line as well. So yeah, but you know I'm not sure if they're all of them are not opening. If all of them are not opening, that's definitely a red flag. But if it's like 30% open rate, or something like that, it's not terrible, I'd say, from ads. So I'd say, try to work on your subject line. Make sure your flow, like your ad is saying it's an email newsletter. Your landing page clearly says, they're gonna get emails, and then your thank you page says that they have to um, like confirm their subscription. Now, yeah, so that's something you can try and see, like try each thing and see if that led to improvement in open rate. I started running ads on New Year's Eve. I have about 400 subscribers since then, about 0.65 so about 60 cents each, with a budget of $50 because my account is new. Each day running out in like 6-7 hours by about 10:30 a.m. One ad in one group. Beehive open rate is 51%. My first ad, my first newsletter, local content. Okay. I have a. Okay, so what's the question? Okay, did I get super lucky, or this is the realm of normal? Okay, yeah. I'd say it's normal. Yeah, it's 65 cents for a local newsletter. That's doable. I mean, that's normal. You can get like less than that, of course. It also depends on the scale. Your scale is pretty low. $50. Okay, so $50 to get 400 subscribers. Yeah, it's fine. I think it's just normal. How long till my budget spend is increased at like $100 a day? Last bill was for $47, but started billing at first like every $3 low. LOL. So what happens is when you create new ads manager, you only would have maybe $25 per day or $50 per day in the in ad spend you can spend. So you have to keep your budget. If you want to scale, you have to keep your budget at like $100, $200, even if it doesn't spend that. But you always want to keep hitting that limit, and then Meta will automatically increase that limit. 1-2 weeks later, so your budget will actually increase automatically. And they will start billing you for a lot more. Like right now, we're getting billed for like $900 every bill. So yeah, how long? How long? I'd say to it 100 a day maybe will take you like 4 weeks or something. Yeah, you can also message Meta support and like ask for the spending increase. If this keeps going like this and I'm not allowed to increase, it seems plausible I'll be at $3,000 from zero this month. I'm getting like 60 subs for each $50 at the moment, and I'm working on more ads to test to see if I can get that lower. How many subs do you need on average newsletter to hit? It's very, like, I think with local newsletter you don't need too many subs, and like this is a question where like it can vary so much. Average newsletter, yeah, let's see what Google says. I like this new AI overview by Google. So okay, you needed between 20K to 30K subscribers. Yeah, so see, it's basically a math question. If you can achieve $10 per subscriber, which with local newsletters is doable, you only need really like 30K engaged subscribers. And yeah, but if if your revenue per subscriber per year is $1, that would need to be 300,000 subscribers, right? So it's just a math question, and how good you are at selling ads, how good you are able at driving that revenue, driving leads to your advertisers. So yeah, and we don't specialize in that right now, and that's something like we're trying to find partners or work on as well for our newsletters and for our clients as well. I would like answers to these questions. Okay. Hey, that's some awesome numbers. Yeah, okay. What strategy is the fastest, most inexpensive way to get to 1K page likes or followers so that I can increase my chance of getting into the bonus program? This should be pretty easy. You just run page likes or like followers campaign, and this would be a very easy way to do that. Now, I don't know much about, if that's if you're willing to spend ads. Inexpensive would be just doing organic. With Facebook pages, organic is pretty challenging, I'd say. And it's from what I've seen, like it's pretty challenging. So, but they've also changed the algorithm, and I honestly haven't looked into this. So, if you do reels, I feel like that's pretty doable. So yeah, just look at what like the most successful pages do right now. Try to reverse engineer their growth and their strategies, and reverse engineer viral videos, because everything is out there. Like you just have to look into things, and first you want to copy, and then you want to optimize, get better, and innovate, and then you can win. I mean, you can win pretty much. Yeah, it's. But I think like that's a really just bulletproof strategy. Okay, how many signups per $1,000? What's the best creative that converts? Very good question. So we're getting about. It really depends on the newsletter too. So for some newsletters, we're getting 300 signups. For some newsletters, we're getting 2,000 signups for this much money, or yeah, for $1,000. What's the best creative that converts? Video, graphic, etc. It really depends on your audience, and especially I feel like it depends on your audience gender, or not gender, age. I'd say age, maybe gender too. Yeah, it's funny. We had this ad with like, so we ran this ad for with like, yeah, like a hot, well, beautiful woman, and like she would like be dancing and stuff, and so we got a lot of clicks from men, a lot of newsletter signups from men. So yeah, it also depends on it depends on a lot of different things, honestly. But we noticed that mostly for audience of over, let's say, 40, 50, 60, static images perform the best, and then anything younger, videos, reels perform really good. But yeah, I feel like both work really well. So it really depends on. I would say this is a really good question, by the way. But I would say just check what ads convert best for your audience. So it might not necessarily be newsletters even, but let's say you target people that are interested in, I don't know. Well, like it depends on the demographic. But let's say you like we've seen a lot of supplement ads, for example, for e-commerce are static ads, just like images, and so we also see for that audience, for newsletters, images perform the best as well, and so a lot of things like that. So you want to look at, you know, your what kind of content resonates the most with your audience, where they spend the most time, on which placements, and you like the ultimate thing, you want to just test it. It's, you just throw like $50 on each ad, or like not each ad but each test. And with newsletters, it's so good because you can get like super like a lot of enough statistical significant data, so at like very low cost, right? You don't have to spend $100. You can spend $50 or like 100. It also depends. So if you're a local newsletter, you don't have to spend much. If you're like in a broad market, you don't have to spend much. But if you're, let's say, some sort of real estate newsletter, VC newsletter, anything where your subscriber cost is like $3 to $5, then you'd probably need to spend more just to get that data, and also see the backend metrics, the open rate, the click-through rate, the upgrade rate. Yeah. So yeah, somebody says you need to use instant forms for best conversion. So that's true. You need to instant forms bring conversion rate is so easy, so good, because it takes 1 second to sign up, and also your email is auto selected. So your quality of email subscribers might be lower, but your conversion rate and cost per subscriber might really offset that thing, right? That quality issue, or like if somebody just uses fake email or like their old email, so that could be the case. But I've heard a lot of, or like some, at least two people said that they had really good um, instant form results for local newsletters specifically. Now, I would not use instant forms just because you can, especially starting out, because you can, use Sparkloop, you can use Beehive Boost, you can have some sort of after offers, which can increase to revenue per subscriber and actually get you much cheaper subscribers because you can monetize them very effectively and efficiently right off the bat and on day one, right? So, and that's what we do for all our clients, for our own newsletters. Hello, I'm just getting started and currently have an average CPA of $2, an average CPC of 50 cents, an average CTR of 3.5%. My question is, I only have 20 subscribers now, and I'm trying to reduce my CPA as much as possible. What advice do you have for me? I tried using lookalike audience feature with 10% setting, but I feel like 20 subscribers might not be enough to make it effective. Yes, you're right. It's not gonna make it effective. Use interests if you want to get, if there's some good interest in your audience. Yeah. What advice do you have for me? I would say you need time. Cost per subscriber decreases over time. Like you launch a campaign, you have to wait 4 days, 7 days to see that cost per subscriber actually being decreased. And sometimes it can be like 30% decrease or 50% decrease from day one. So, yeah, you should be able to get it to like $1.30, $1.50. And just test different creatives. Optimize your landing page. I have some videos on my YouTube channel how to do that. I'm gonna have a Beehive webinar as well. So, it's just really like making sure sometimes, it doesn't, a higher CPA is not bad. Like oftentimes you want to get quality subscribers, and you want to overpay or pay fairly for quality. So, but to lower the CPA as much as possible, you have to test. You have to, make sure your ads are aligned with your landing page, with your content. You're getting the right subscribers for the right price. You test. Like the biggest thing we've seen so far is in terms of getting the CPA down, or cost per result. So CPA means cost per action, actually. So the biggest thing we've seen to reduce cost per subscriber is to actually test different creative styles, and and that just leads to so much reduction. That's like the biggest lever you can pull. So I would just focus on that as soon as you got your fundamentals. in a solid place. So okay, so he can. Somebody says you need at least 50 conversions for Facebook ads to be properly trained, meaning you have to spend more upfront to get enough training data for you to learn from. So 50 conversions for Facebook ads, they recommend you need to get it on the ad set level per week. So 50 conversions per week. And I would agree with that. We typically see the more conversions you have, the better it is in terms of CPA, and it's like way more stable. Like you get to 1,000 conversions per day. Like your CPA is super stable. Everything is super stable. So yeah, I would agree on this, of course. But 50 conversions, that's per week. So actually, it's not per week; it's per optimization window. And so on the ad set level, within Facebook Ads Manager, you have this. You have these optimization. What is this? You have there you go here. So attribution setting. This is the window your conversions are being counted. I guess. Yeah. I mean, Meta will learn from the conversions happening within 7-day click or 1-day view window. So after somebody clicks and they convert within 7 days, or after they just view the ad and they convert within 1 day, Meta will learn from these conversions. And what I mean by convert is they complete this event. So in this case, is a conversion in terms of being non-subscriber to a subscriber, and Meta will learn from these events happening within these timeframes. And you only need 50 per week minimum, at least recommended by Meta. It's not a minimum. You can really have 1 per day, or like I think 2 or 3 per day is the minimum, I'd say. But yeah, so that's certainly having more helps and leads to better results. What's the optimal number of ads within an ad unit to run? If you're running instant forms to optimize conversions and not using Zapier for cost reasons, subs are missing the welcome email. Have you found subs stickier driving to website and converting versus forms? We haven't really tested this. I cannot tell you much about this, but I know some people said that they have no problem doing forms, and I don't think that matters potentially. Yeah. Honestly, now my bias is to website converts better and has better quality, just because I know that from lead gen, because I've run quite a bit of lead gen campaigns. Always website leads to better leads. More expensive, but better quality, more relevant, because they actually can see your website, browse around. But for newsletters, I would feel like it can have the same effect. From what I've heard people telling me, the local newsletters especially is like forms. They have good results with forms. So if you have optimized local newsletter, you have a good cost per. You obviously want to test these things, but I would you should be fine. I feel like. What's the optimal? You should be fine with forms. Like the only reason we use website, because you can just increase your revenue so much more, and it's not a good idea like for us to use forms unless it's like, I don't know, 70% cheaper maybe. What's the optimal number of ads within an ad unit to run? So an optimal number of ads within an ad unit to run, I'd say initially you want to do like 4, maybe 6 maximum. So when you launch a test, I wouldn't go like, I would do maybe 3 to 6 ads within the ad set. And that's, I think, what I've done here, just 4 ads for creatives. But over time, you'll see the ad, like one ad just takes the most ad spend. And you can launch new ads within that ad set, or you can launch new campaigns or new ad sets with different ads. And that's what we mostly do right now. We launch new ads within different campaigns or different ad sets, and that helps us increase the scale. And we especially do that when we have a different creative type. So let's say we have one ad set or one campaign, and then we would do like a different campaign or different ad set. And the reason why I said different, campaign or ad set is because in some cases, basically, if you have a budget on the campaign, then you wouldn't want to do a different campaign. Or if you have a budget on the ad set level, you'd want to do. So here's on the ad set level, I would just duplicate this ad set and I would just launch a new set of creatives. Let's say I'm running images ads. I would want to do video ads in a different ad set. So that's what I would do. And the reason why you want to do that is because you'd have different results from different creative styles. So some of the creative styles might have, let's say images in this style might have this CPA, but they might have different open rate, different retention, and all these different things. So it's very important what language you use in ad and also the creative style as well. But if it's very similar to this one, like we can just launch a new ad within this ad set and then just like test it as well. So yeah, I'm not from a Beehive team, but that being said, if Beehive wants me in their team, I mean, I'm open. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think I'm in so many different things. I feel like I'm a part of a Beehive team. Honestly, like Beehive has been so great. Yeah. I feel like it's a great company. So if you want to work at a great company, you can see their hiring page. Is horizontal scaling dead now instead of scaling single ad set duplication? No, it's not dead. It's not dead. It's not dead. I would still give it a shot. I mean, we do it a lot actually these days. How do you split budget between, and especially we do this when we have different creatives and different creative styles and different funnels. So that's super interesting and cool. Because at some point you're just gonna run out of your audience, and what you want to do is like you want to create different different maybe landing pages, different Facebook pages. So for example, you can create a Facebook page from your personal name or like a very different name, and that can increase your volume because some people just have seen your ad so many times and they're just like, okay, I've seen this. But if they see a completely different funnel, completely different Facebook page, you might convert them, right? How do you split budget between audience testing? And also there's like so many different nuances. Like there's people, like you can optimize ads infinitely, really. You can, like even when it comes to user generated content, you have like, there's going to be some sort of different people type that resonate with this audience, but there's going to be different people in terms of UGC content creators that resonate with completely different. So it could be age, it could be gender, it could be all of these different things. How do you split budget between audience testing and creative testing? 99% goes to creative testing. Audience testing is like a very small thing we do, and it just typically we do it once or twice and just stick to what works best, because like this is where all the leverage is in terms of optimizing Facebook ads. Well, not all, but a significant portion of it. Percentage age to spend on testing versus doubling down on what's working. Okay, so how much you want to spend on testing? I'd say maybe like 20% or 15% on testing, and then double down on what's working. Yeah, but not the ideal. Oh yeah, so if it's not ideal CPA, you just want to test. If something's working, you just see, that's pretty contradictory. I feel like if it's not ideal CPA but it's somewhat working, you just want to spend all your new money on new tests because you want to get you to your ideal CPA. And yeah, because if it's not working, why would you spend and why would you like scale on that one? Yeah, that thing, right? And a lot of times, if it's like somewhat working, maybe it's working. Maybe you shouldn't like really optimize ads. Maybe you should optimize your revenue, your landing page. So that's something to think about, right? Most important metrics to take decisions with region, landing page conversion rate, cost per subscriber. So what we've started doing, or like we've actually been doing this, we measure cost per opener, and in some cases we measure cost per cost per average opener, and then cost per average clicker as well. And like it can be complicated, but that's, or cost per purchase, for example. So that's like the best metric you want to go off of. But yeah, cost per subscriber and then cost per average opener, and that's open rate is pretty good indicator. I feel like we have to run the data again, the numbers again, but it's pretty good because like clicks, they can be very inconsistent, like newsletter to newsletter, and it depends as well. So we work with a lot of smaller newsletters, like under 100K subscribers, or like under 200K. What is your conversion tracking setup? Yeah, pretty simple. There's a Beehive video I showed in this video. Initially, it's pretty simple. Just Google Tag Manager, yeah. Through thoughts on Reddit ads, we haven't tested. At one point, I've tested them. It wasn't really good. I feel like there's a lot of bots, so it depends how you set them up. Yeah. So it can be. It's it's a really like just. I would not focus on this. Basically, I would not focus on the Reddit ads, or like I would not test them initially. Get to like a place where your meta ads are like tapping out. You cannot scale them, and you can expand into different channels. What value are you incentivizing with? What makes people want to click then subscribe? Yeah, pretty simple, right? It's just it. It's actually, I feel like it's a good question because there's really two types of newsletter ads. One is a lead magnet. One is the actual value your newsletter provides. And so we 100% see a much, much better retention with ads that are just incentivizing the newsletter content itself, no lead magnets. But that being said, lead magnets can have 50% lower CPA. And so it's really a trade-off. And if you're just starting out, you might want to just do like lead magnet ads because they will get you better CPA, and you can get pretty much sometimes free subscribers. And that's what I've done with my newsletters. Some of them, not all of them, but some of them. Yeah. But if you have like a paywall where you want to get paid newsletter upgrades, and the reason people would upgrade is because of your content, doing a lead magnet will not work. Very high chance that it's not going to work. So yeah, but typically, let's say it's a local newsletter, it's going to be like, music events, whatever people want, right? Give people what they want, and they will do things to get it. So just basic things. All right. Why don't you use... Okay, so I think it's an ad. I don't know. I don't know if I can report this. Nonsense such and such instruction. I don't know what the rules are, but I guess it's self-promotion. I don't know. That's fine. How do you A/B test Beehive landing page to optimize and test conversion? Yeah, so it's a good question. We've used Go High Level, and then we would send subscribers using, through API. It's not only solution. You can use Webflow and have some sort of like a form and send subscribers to your Beehive by API as well, or any, pretty much, not necessarily Webflow. But No, you can use Go high level, I feel like, and you can use some sort of like type form or something. But we've noticed that using, let's say, Go high level, we had lower revenue with Sparkloop, and we just stopped it. But there's Beehive actually is going to really, hopefully release a new a landing page A/B testing tool, and just so much better website experience. So in this quarter, so yeah, um, stay tuned for that. So that's all questions. Let's see if there's any more. 16 hours. I feel like there's not more questions here. Now there's some Twitter questions I received. So let's check these. What tools do you use to A/B test landing page? So yeah, would be Go high level right now. What are the strategies of testing for Facebook ads? Any insights to share? Yeah, it's a pretty broad question. I think I've shared enough insights in this video, but I think I have like really good videos on my YouTube channel. So this one is decent. As I think this one is a good video, but there's like a really long video, and that long video, if if you just want this one, oh no, this is landing pages. But there's some good ones about Facebook ads specifically. Yeah, I feel like that one is a good one. This one is a good one too. Yeah, maybe this one is a good one as well. Honestly, like if you can ask a very more specific question, it would be easier to answer. What's your strategy on testing load volume of creatives? Load volume of creatives. Yeah, I would say just do like different ad sets, and then give them each three days, at least 4 days of time, and then cut the ones that are not working. It can be inefficient sometimes, but yeah, or like if you have a very similar ad or like a very different like similar creative, if you just want to test hooks or visuals, we typically launch those within the same ad set. So let's say we have a one best performing ad. So let's say we have one, this ad is the best performing. We just cut off these ones, and then we create new ones that would have maybe very similar visuals, so maybe very similar background, or like not very similar, but that would be something aligned to this ad. So if you have like city views, that would be just city views or something related to that, or just different text with different hooks. So it's still the same value proposition, still the same newsletter, still the same audience, just different way to communicate to them, different ways to hook them in. And we want to test that in the same ad set. If it's something different, if it's a different creative style, so for example, the background would be just like black color, we would do a different ad set. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And obviously, things keep evolving. Like we want to stay open-minded about things and not be dogmatic. And we've been changing a lot of things all the time. So if like let's say in 3 months or 1 month, like I say different things, like don't be surprised, because maybe that's just like the data says that way is better. So we always want to follow our data and our heart to some extent. So cool. Well, hope you found this video useful, and let me know if you have any questions in the comment down below, and I'll get back to you ASAP.